Shut up and sit down.
So yeah, my number 10, starting off. I don't know if you'll agree here, but I think one of the most interesting and probably one of the best horror films, in a sense, is Blair Witch Project.
I really like Blair Witch Project. I haven't seen it.
Did you say Blair Bitch Project then?
Probably.
That's what you are if you don't like the film.
That's what I'm going to call it now, Blair Bitch Project. I haven't seen it in maybe 5 years.
It's a nifty little film. It kind
Nifty?
of... Yeah, no, that's
Did you really just say that?
Yeah, but one thing I do really like about it, and why I describe it as nifty, even though you're laughing at me, is that it kind of set the genre for fan film footage. Unfortunately, it's been fucked up a little bit by films like Paranormal Activity, which we talked about earlier, and other found film footage.
I would love to do a list of worst modern horror films, because all of the Paranormal Activities will make the list. They're probably at the top.
But yeah, it was directed by... I've got a piece of paper in front of me so I can try and pronounce them correctly. Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick.
What have they done recently?
I haven't really checked into it, to be honest. It was just that I wanted to give them credit, because I will give them credit for a film that is really interesting. Essentially, they had this tiny budget. They've got some very unknown actors from the time, and the best way I can describe it is they made a film that feels real. It feels like you're watching a bunch of people in the woods, and not just overacting people going, "Oh my god, run from the guy with the chainsaw."
And for those people who say "Oh, why do found footage films show nothing?" This is the film that you can blame for that, but you can't blame this film because it's the film that started it, and that works to its advantage because it makes it more scary.
You know how much I hate Cloverfield, and if we did a top 10 worst monster films, that would be my number one.
I can defend Cloverfield, but that's another video for another time. But either way, Blair Witch Project's ending, if you probably remember it, is scary perhaps because of what you don't see.
I was completely enraged though when I went on Netflix the other day, and this isn't an endorsement for them, unless they want to endorse us for whatever reason. They only had 1 star. I feel as if people are missing the point of the film. That is not meant to be high budget special effects. And the Fred movie had 2 goddamn stars. That film is a horror movie, but...
Those people who've probably never watched it have probably watched it now and not realised that it came out before probably most of them were born.
I don't know. I feel as if some people, things go over their head a little bit.
Indeed. So...
We're getting a bit dickheaded and a bit snobby.
No, not
Should
really.
replace our icons with top hats and monocles. This is a really interesting, strange one I decided to pick for the list. I picked
Is it a cartoon?
Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween.
Is that the first one?
Yeah, I could put this higher, but I don't want to sound like all mine are cartoons. If we're talking about my favourite Halloween films, they are all just cartoons, and all of the Billy and Mandy's series and
I don't blame
movies. But I actually thought this one was an interesting one to put on the list, because not only is Billy and Mandy always been one of those cartoons, much like Invader Zim, and you know my love for that tries to push the boundaries of what you can get away with in a cartoon. It's very interesting because it's kind of touching on some of old folklore for Halloween because of Ichabod and Crane, the Headless Horseman. It's kind of parody of that in a sense.
I think we should at least mention the premise of Billy and Mandy. For those who don't know, this is a show that ran on a very long time on Cartoon Network. It's about basically these 2 kids called Billy and Mandy who trick the Grim Reaper into being their best friend forever, and of course hilarity ensues as the Grim Reaper can't stand every second of it.
Yeah, he kind of completely seems to always forget about his job as the Grim Reaper.
Well, it's they trick him into being their best friend forever, but they should have just changed that to slave, because that's essentially what he is.
The plot centers around those 3, and Mandy's a control freak and a megalomaniac, and she actually wants to take over the world.
Yeah.
And Billy is
just an idiot.
Clearly has some mental faculties missing.
And also voiced by the same actor who voiced Invader Zim, but you cannot tell, really.
Wasn't that also Daggett from Angry Beavers? I don't know if that avoided your age barrier.
I haven't seen the film in ages, so I can't really say. It's more of a TV special.
Yeah,
I remember it being.
Yeah, I know that I know that's kind of a bit unfair putting one into the list that's a TV special, but
If it's a TV movie, then it's fine.
yeah, I really appreciate it, and it's definitely a number 9 spot. It deserves that because it gets Halloween. It gets you so in the mood. It's the first film you should watch of the day. Like if you woke up and you're like you've not got work, like this Halloween falls on a Saturday, I recommend that you actually watch this film from the moment you wake up. If it's not on Netflix already, just go. I'm not endorsing illegal downloads, but go watch it. I'll move on to my number 8, and you may hate me for having it this like low on the list, but Ghostbusters.
I don't really, as long as it's on there.
Because I don't feel it fully captures the spirit of Halloween, but I do feel as if it's got spooky elements, and I feel as if Halloween films need to have a lot of comedy elements to them anyway to be a Halloween film, because Halloween is fun. Halloween should be fun.
It's more of a family thing.
I grew up spending a large amount of my childhood indoors watching American films. Sorry, any Americans any Americans out there who watch this. If your Halloweens aren't anything like the movies and the cartoons, make it that way, because I'm coming over there on Halloween.
Yeah, because I had the fortune of going to America on Halloween.
Did you?
Yeah, that's when we went to Florida, and even then it was just glorious, just seeing the entire like environment of because it wasn't even Halloween, but it was just they were preparing for it, and it was glorious to see. Yeah.
Hotel Transylvania.
Well, see, we were crossing over a lot.
The reason this is my number 7 is it does capture like their whole monsters and blah blah blah, but it's not got any real Halloween themes to it, so I'm not putting it any like higher on the list. But I will say I think this should be in the top 10 Christmas films, because it is a Christmas miracle that Adam Sandler is in a half decent movie for once.
Do you think of that joke all day?
Oh yeah, I have that. I will tell you right now, this is written on a piece of paper.
What's the next?
My number 6.
Number 6 already?
Yeah, Casper.
Casper?
The original movie.
Casper.
The 1995, is it? 1995.
Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Why are you putting that piece of shit on there?
Really?
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
I'm not a fan.
Okay. Well, the second one actually does take place on Halloween, but again, I said that.
Second one?
Yeah, there's a second one. I
Really?
didn't want to choose any sequels or spin-offs like Casper Meets Wendy.
God, that was the second one.
You're clearly not a fan of like things based on Archie comics, then.
No,
like
I
Richie
wasn't a
Rich.
fan of the first film. I was like, I don't really need to see anything else based on this.
Fair enough, but I personally really love this film. It's one of those films that really stuck with me. Some of the scenes, like the scene where they go into the basement. I don't know. I love giant mansions, and I love like hidden like secrets and stuff like
You mean
that.
the amusement park ride? That's what it is.
Yeah,
essentially.
the reason why I really like it is for a 1995 film, the CGI really does hold up. No, don't give me that look. Right, I'm going to put up some, like, maybe a clip or a couple of photos and, like, spin between them, but they got it so perfect that it's in between cartoony and realistic. The cartoony style is so cartoony that the CGI doesn't look weird. You can all leave a subjective opinion.
Fair enough.
Do you want me to move on then? My number 5, Disney's own Halloween Town.
Halloween Town. I've not seen that in ages.
It seems like all my films are childhood films and yours are like just like stuff that you wanted to throw in a list.
No, these are just things that I remember, basically.
Fair enough, because that's exactly how I feel about these films. They have stuck with me. For anyone who hasn't seen Halloween Town, the premise is essentially it's Halloween, these kids are at home, parents want a babysitter. I might be wrong because I can't 100% remember the film. And the grandma comes over, and they follow her back to her home, which turns out to be in this like mystical alternate dimension, which is Halloween Town, which is sort of reminiscent of the Halloween Town from Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was going to say, sure, it's not a spin-off.
I feel like maybe some of the ideas are stolen it from it a bit. I actually really don't know what much to say about it, apart from it was directed by Dwayne Dunham. He directed Homeward Bound. I presume you have seen Homeward Bound.
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen Homeward Bound?
No. So what number's next?
Number 4. And
Number 4.
For me, this is Hocus Pocus.
I've never seen it, so I can't really comment.
You haven't actually seen Hocus
No.
Pocus. I do recommend seeing it. It's not a great film. I'm going to say that.
So why is it on the bucket list?
Because it's so Halloweeny. It takes place on Halloween. It essentially takes from the Greek mythology of the Sisters of Fate, the three women, the crone, the maiden, the mother. And it's a film where Sarah Jessica Parker doesn't look like a train wreck.
Oh, she looks like a foot then.
No, she doesn't look like a foot or a horse.
Okay.
Without giving the entire film away, there's like bits set in Old Salem.
I might have to reconsider being friends with you this time. But either way, so I've never seen it. Is it worth me getting a watch?
I think it's worth giving a watch once you've already taken a couple of drinks in after Halloween, because then
Okay.
you get to that stage where maybe if you've had like a
It's
couple of
better to laugh at it.
yeah, I had like one or two like vodkas, had like one Jaeger bomb, so you're a bit hyper, got a bit of sugar in you, and then you can sit down and go, oh well, I'm getting my like inner child coming out. But I'll just move on to my number 3. My number 3 is Paranorman.
Why is it to number 1?
Because it didn't fully encapsulate
I hate you.
Halloween's theme enough. It doesn't have Halloween in the name, so
Okay,
you can go fuck
fair
yourself. No. I love it. It's definitely on my list of top 10 stop motion animation films. We'll definitely do a list about that. There's actually nothing really to add about it apart from one little feature I really like, and I'll put a picture to represent it. Is Norman has huge ears, and I really like the way they got the lighting to go through it to represent like cartilage. There's a really strange
It's
appreciation
just a
of the
little
film.
like detail that just goes a long way.
And there is some elements of CG because they have like the ghosts in it, and I think the ghosts are like CG'd in, but they still look like stop motion, which is really strange.
They probably just did it normally and just added a filter onto it.
Maybe. I don't know. That's for you lot to research. Would you like me to move on to number 2, or do you want to talk more about Paranorman?
I think I think I said all I needed to about it.
To be honest, you've said most about what I have in my list anyway.
Okay, then we'll move on to number 2, which is, if I'm going to guess, it'll be the same as my number 2.
Well, you say guess, but you looked at my piece of paper.
No, I didn't. I didn't see any piece of paper.
It's Grown Ups 2.
Grown Ups 2?
Yeah, that
a
is a whole.
surprise.
No, I'm telling a lie. It's Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Really? I thought that wasn't out yet.
No, it's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, nothing really needs to be said on it. Danny Elfman, great performance, great music. Tim Burton didn't really do anything on it, which is good.
I mean, I already know how much you love it because you have it on every time I come round.
The funny thing is, I watch it more frequently the time in between Christmas and Halloween than I actually do Halloween and Christmas.
Well, because they're both a Halloween film and it's a Christmas film. I mean, we've already discussed a lot about it already.
I'm just glad Helen Bonham Carter isn't in it, even though I do like her acting. I'm just glad for once it's not Johnny Depp and her. And I'll get to my number 1. My number 1 is Halloween Tree. Right, one thing you completely forgot about the film is that Mr. Moundshroud.
That's his name.
Yeah, I'll put a picture up showing his head is terrifying. It's like this massive like oblong xenomorph looking thing, and then he has a huge nose.
He looks like
but he's voiced by Leonard Nimoy, and oh my god, God rest his soul.
Yeah. I can't really remember that it was voiced by him. I'm gonna have to watch this again. I am.
Yeah, I recommend it to anyone to watch it on Halloween. Not on Halloween. I showed it Hannah earlier this year,
Yeah.
and she said it was a really good film. She really appreciated it.
Because when I remember thinking about it, like I always imagine that what's his name again? The old man.
Mr. Moundshroud.
Yeah, I always imagine him with a very remembering as like a very old man voice, not Leonard Nimoy, not Spock. But
You've clearly not remembered the film at all.
either way,
I'll probably try and actually throw a clip in either at the end of the video or during it.
Pumpkins! Look at them all! A pumpkin tree.
No, a Halloween tree.
His portrayal of Mr. Moundshroud, wow. His voice, it's so piercing. I don't want to sound like I'm sniffing up his
he does
butt.
have one of the most distinctive voices out there.
Yeah, it's also narrated by, I've got his name, Ray Bradbury. He's also the author of the book that the film was actually based on.
Really?
And he narrates it.
The pumpkins on the tree were not mere pumpkins. Each had a face sliced in it. Each face was different. Every nose was a weirder nose. Every mouth smiled hideously in some new way. 1,000 grimaces and twice times 1,000 glares of fresh-cut eyes. Each blink held the remnant holiday spirit of years gone by.
It's a very it's definitely, the entire film is endearing. It's a labor of love. It's one of the best things I've ever seen Hanna-Barbera do.
Yeah.
I miss Hanna-Barbera so much.
I do.
The cartoons were the greatest.
Indeed.
One thing I really like about it is the fact that it's educational, and you don't realise it till you've already watched the film.
Yeah.
You realise afterwards, it's like, crap, I just watched an
It just
educational
taught
film.
me something. How the fuck did it do that?
Yeah, it awakened my love for the Mexican culture of Dia de los Muertos.
No one teaches me history.
Even though it's incredibly racist to assume that's all of it.
Don't watch the Book of Life then.
But yeah, that's all I have to really say on the film. I just recommend seeing it.
It is one of the best Halloween-based films out there.
For
So-
people who grew up on things like Dexter's Lab, you should
Yeah.
definitely check it out.
It's definitely a really solid film that you should just check out. So that's our both our favourite Halloween films to watch on the holiday.
Yeah.
Um,
if you didn't personally agree, please let us know.
And put your own list at the bottom.
Yeah, well, even make your own content, make your own video. That's cool with that.
That's perfectly fine.
You could also try tweeting us some of your favourite films that we may have missed out.
Because I'm sure there's ones that we've missed out that we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
It's usually just down to the fact that we haven't seen them and we can't remember.
I'm expecting like just constant abuse from people now, just like, you piece of crap. Why
Why
did
do
you
you
like
forget
that?
this insert so-called classic here?
I'm
at
just
the end
waiting
of
for
it?
like an anonymous comment from you just saying, Casper, what a piece of crap that is.
I can just say that to you now. What were you thinking putting that into this?
I like that. I love the film.
But-
Please also, if you have it, you could comment on the Facebook.
Enjoy the holiday of Halloween, because in Britain we don't really celebrate it much.
Please, whatever you do on this Halloween, wish Jacob a enjoyable day working in what is essentially a bakery.
Yeah. So
Don't worry, I won't name drop.
yeah, no need to name drop. But either way, this has been our favourite films to watch on Halloween. The definitive. Don't listen to anyone else's. This is the definitive list of what to watch.
Yeah, don't go checking out people like Movie Bob. God, that guy is terrible.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell that was sarcasm, please check out Movie Bob.
Yeah.
Good
Go
stuff.
away.